Good afternoon. Hello. This is Diane Wolf. I'm your facilitator for today's webinar. This webinar is brought to you by the FPSA Women's Leadership Network, and I am the leader of the professional development team. And we are the ones that are putting on these webinars for you frequently throughout the year. I wanted to do just a few points. That Women's Alliance Network is open to everyone from FPSA. If you are interested in our activities, you can either go to the FPSA website or you can contact Elena. We have a mentor circle that has just come up and is operating. We are really here to help to encourage and support women in the food and beverage and packaging areas. So very excited to have you join us today. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to our webinar. A few housekeeping items. We record our webinars and they're available through the FPSA website at any time. You can play them for groups. You can listen to them at your leisure. So know that we are recording this. The next piece of housekeeping is would like to have you ask questions at any time throughout the presentation. We will take a look at them at the end and have a dialogue with our speaker. So please enter the question box and put your questions in as the things may occur to you. We'll take about 10 or 15 minutes at the end of our webinar to talk with Tyra and ask her those questions. So let's move on then to who our speaker is, our lovely speaker, Tyra James from Phenomenally Becoming Coaching and Consulting. We're just so excited to have her today. She is a master transformational life coach, and she'll tell you a little bit more about what life coaches do. And she excels at teaching others to have a greater vision of themselves and create the life that they want to live. Additionally, Tyra is a certified practical parent facilitator. Don't know what that is. Maybe you can tell us more about that one, Tyra. As well as she holds a personal training certificate from the American Council on Exercise. So a very well-rounded, very knowledgeable speaker to address today's topic. And I think with that, I don't want to take any more of Tyra's time because I know she has so much to share with you. And there is our title, Envisioning Your Next Whatever. And thank you again, Tyra, and you please take over, and I'm going to turn off my camera so that you don't have to look at me, and we can focus on what you have to share with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Diane and Elena, for having me. I'm excited about being here today. And yes, I am a transformational life coach and speaker and author, and I am involved and do many things. A lot of times, the question I get is, what is a life coach? And what a life coach is, let me just tell you what I do as a life coach. My job is to invoke your voice and bring out the greater version of you, and also to help you to create systems and habits for success, and so that you can move forward and also live the greater version of your life. So in a nutshell, that's what a life coach is, and that's what I do. So today I want to talk to everyone, and first let me welcome everyone. I'm excited about you all being here. And I want to talk today about envisioning your next. I know that you're probably thinking, what's your next, or envisioning your next? So let's get right into it. The first thing that I want to say and let you all know is that only the dreamer can envision and execute the dream. No one else can do it for you. So envisioning your next and moving forward, only you can do it. Yes, you can surround yourself with a mastermind group and support and people that are invested in you, but at the end of the day, only you can do it.
That's the arrow down.
Elena, can we go to the next?
Do you want to do the poll questions now?
Yes, let's get right into the survey question. So the first question I have for you is, are you living a healthy lifestyle physically and mentally?
Okay, collecting responses, and we will close it in 1, 2, 3.
Number 2. Oh, okay.
Good.
Great. So 67% of you are living a healthy lifestyle and physically and mentally. That's so good to hear. I'm excited about that.
All right, and next one. Let's-
The next question, do you know your life's purpose? The reason why you're here, your purpose.
Okay, collecting responses. And we will close in 1, 2, 3.
Okay, really close. 42% of you do know, and 58% of you do not. And that's okay too, because this is why we're here. Number 3, have you obtained financial freedom?
Collecting responses. And we will close in 1, 2, 3.
Okay, 23% of you have and 77% of you haven't. The wonderful thing is that right now, this moment, we're all still living, so we're still working at it.
And
And the
then,
last question, does your inner circle inspire you and others to be your best self?
all right, and collecting responses. And we'll close in 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so 31% of you said yes, 8% said no, 62% of you said for the most part. Okay. Okay, knowing what you really, really want. When I ask most people this question, what they really want, they tend to pause and then they can give me a list of things that they do not want to happen to them instead of what they really, really want. And my job is to help them to know what they really, really want. So let's get into what the average of people, the 4 things that people want. We can go to the next slide. The 4 key desires for most people is they want great health, financial freedom. They want to know their purpose and live on purpose while serving others and enjoying life with family, friends, and a significant other who share the same positive mindset and outlook on life. They want to wake up excited about life and know their purpose and be on purpose and actually serve with their purpose. And they also want to really, really share their life with like-minded people. And sometimes it's hard for people to actually convey that. And when I ask them about their purpose, this is one area where usually the conversation starts. So let's go back to the first one, great health. Of course, we all want great health, and it's one of the most important things in life, it's having great health, and not only physically, but mentally, having a great mentality, having a life where it's not overwhelmed by stress and anxiety. And it's something in this world that right now we're all working at. But your health is super, super important because it really doesn't matter if you have all the other things and your health is not where you want it to be. So I encourage you all to, that should be number 1 and something that you're consistently working on, and not just physically, but mentally. Number 2 is financial freedom. This one I like to encourage everybody, as long as you're still living, this is one that you will probably be working at or wanting to attain and reach that, and just reach that peak where you have financial freedom. I like to leave people with this or encourage them with this. If you didn't have to worry about bills and how to put your children through college or how you're going to buy that home or anything like that that we tend to worry about, how creative could you be if you have financial freedom? So I think that's one thing that is so important in life, of working at having financial freedom. That leaves more room in your mind to be creative and to live in your purpose. The next point is your purpose. I think that that's one thing that you should be working on if you do not know what your purpose is. I can probably tell you this. I can tell you this. You've probably been already doing it. I know it's something that you absolutely love doing and would do it for free and could do it all day long, and could also find a avenue or vehicle to get in to share it with someone. My life's purpose is to teach and to help lead and encourage others and inspire others. And my vehicle is, I'm a coach. I'm a transformational life coach. I've also written a book. I've also done many things, but that's my vehicle, is teaching and coaching. And that's how I get to express my life's purpose. And I also want to enjoy it with my family and my friends and people that are like-minded, that can also help me with my purpose and to continue to live on purpose and encourage me and to move forward with it. Next slide. Now, to achieve all of those things, let me first say this. Whatever area, the first four, whatever area that you're most lacking in, that is your next. You might have been wondering, oh, what is my next? Well, here's right here something that could be your next and what you're working on. So if it was your health, financial freedom, if it was finding your purpose, or if it was creating those great relationships that we want and need in our life, whatever was lacking or absent, that's your next. So I encourage you to absolutely work on that. That's your next. And let's talk a little bit about thinking in a certain way. And I just want to provoke your mind a little bit to just give you some tips on how to actually go and create that. Okay? A universal law. You will not get, I left it blank right there because let's just put the word health. You will not get health by doing certain things, but you will get health by doing things in a certain way. I like to give this a kind of a funny example when I talk about this. I moved to Atlanta about 7 years ago with my family, my husband and my daughter. And at the time, my daughter was about 19 years old. She was in college. And so she was transferring. She's going to attend Kennesaw State. And she said she wanted to get a job. I said, absolutely, you should get a job. I said, actually, you have 24 hours to get a job. And so she started laughing and she's like, Mom, I can't even deal with you sometimes. I'm like, you got 24 hours. She's like, how will I get a job in 24 hours? So the next morning when she got up, I said, okay, this is how you will get a job in 24 hours. And I said, how do you get a job? She said, well, I have to fill out an application. I said, yeah, that's doing a certain thing. I said, but we said we wanted you to have a job in 24 hours. So you have to do it, you have to do that certain things in a certain way. So I said, so your job today for 8 hours is to fill out applications online for 8 hours. I said, the average person will get on and fill out 4 or 5, maybe, and then pray and hope to be called. And I said, you have 8 hours to bombard Atlanta with your name. And she did. And sure enough, she had a job within 24 hours. So again, just doing things in a certain way is the key, not just doing certain things. Okay. The universal law and great proverb states it like this: you do not describe what you see, you see what you describe. Everything in life is created twice. So it has to be created in your mind first. So she had to see herself being called, interviewed, and hired the next day in her mind first. She had to create it in her mind first. Most people want certainty and they want to be assured, and their faith level is a little low because they only concentrate on what they see, not what they want to see. And I always say you have to see it in your mind so you can see it, so you can see it, period. And one great, not just universal law, but it's kind of a spiritual law. When you write something down, you have a 97% chance of it coming true. So I encourage you to, whatever your next was, to sit down and write it down. And have a plan with it and actually work the plan. Next slide. Dreaming bigger. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about because I often tell people I dream for a living, and which I actually do. All of my clients, I help them to dream bigger, and I've gotten to create along with them so many things in life, and I've gotten to experience so many things by being a dreamer. I literally dream for a living. These are things that I have discovered that will just set your dream aside from creating what most people can create. Number one, I want you to know that you are a co-creator in your life. You are a co-creator. So you actually create the life that you want. And when setting goals, most people set goals that they can attain, and that's easy. But I want to just take a moment and tell you this. When setting a goal, what you're actually trading is time in life for that goal. So your goal should be something worth your time in your life. My daughter now is 25 and she's on this kick that she wants a brand new car. So she's like, I set a goal, I'm going to get a brand new car. I said, I don't want you to set a goal to get a brand new car. I want you to set a budget to get a brand new car. But I want your goals to be, one, only set goals that give you butterflies and they require a team for you to do it. Only set goals that scare you and give you butterflies. And set goals that inspire you and others. Those people that you can take along with you. So set those type of goals. And set goals that's worthy of your time in life. Period. Those are goals that I want you to start setting. Not the goals that you can pretty much obtain and you know that you can. But set the goals that give you butterflies, that scare you, that make you like go, ooh, or I don't know. That's exactly what you should do, those things. Next slide. And living intentionally. Another one of my favorite things to teach and talk about, because I believe living intentionally has to be a conscious effort. It has to be intentional, and you have to be very skillful at doing it. What intentional means, it means to be on purpose or deliberate. On purpose or deliberate. So just even talking with my daughter, we deliberately, intentionally set out for her to have a job in 24 hours. It was deliberate. She didn't wake up and thought, maybe I'll get it done. Maybe let me just, but we set out for her to have it in 24 hours and intentional. And I have not only taught her to do these things, but shown her to do these things. I like to live my life intentionally and on purpose. And what it has created is I've created a habit of winning. And I want you all to start creating a habit of winning by living intentionally. Your life is a series of choices that you've made. So let's at least be super intentional about them, because at the end of the day, it's all going to add up to the exact time, point, cent, however you want to say it, what the choices that you've made. A lot of people like to say experience is the best teacher, but I kind of beg to differ. I think experience is not the best teacher. Evaluated experience is the best teacher. So take a moment to evaluate your health, your finances, knowing your purpose, and your relationships. And that's the best teacher when you sit back and evaluate. Have I really set some goals to be healthy and be as healthy as I can be at my age right now where I'm in life? Have I been intentional about that? Have I set a goal that really I know is going to be very challenging for me to attain that? And that I'm going to have to maybe have a trainer or a life coach or someone to help me along with it, or supportive friends. And don't be afraid to express it to someone who has earned the right for you to express your dreams and visions to, that you know that they're going to not only be supportive, but be invested in you. So create and live the life you want with 100% intention. My intention today with this seminar was to simply inspire you to do even better, to be better, to make different choices, and to, hopefully get started. Next. Living intentionally. I love, love, love this quote by Steve Jobs. It inspires me every single time I read it. So I wanted to share it with you all today. Your life, your time is limited. So don't waste it by living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the result of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. Most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. We have one life, and you might as well live it to the best. You might as well do everything you thought you wanted to do, everything that scares you. You might as well. You only have one life. And what you want in life wants you to. I can promise you that. What you want wants you to. And you need to surround yourself with people who will help encourage you and not let you settle, and not let you set a low bar, but keep your bar high and obtain it, and actually go for those dreams and those, whatever you want to do. I encourage you today to absolutely make a change if you need to in whatever area it is, and absolutely go for those dreams. Does anyone have any questions? Let's talk.
Is that the one?
It's Diane jumping back in here. If you have some questions, please chat them in, and I'm going to go ahead and take a little time to ask some questions so that we can wait for people to join. And my first question, Tyra, is I understand the 4 areas, and I guess I wanted to ask, how do you get started on your next? If your next is purpose, if your next is help, how do you recommend people get started?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that question. And I'm glad you asked the question about purpose, because it's really the number one area that usually people ask me to help them in. The first thing is always evaluate. Am I on purpose? Am I happy? Is it something that is nagging me on the inside? We have to learn to be very truthful with ourselves. And if it's not, then we need to evaluate. We need to remove some things. I always say clean out and make room for greatness. So you need to start removing some things so that now you can move forward with your purpose, whatever it is. And the best thing, if you don't know, seek help, ask for help, and go hire a coach, or or join a group, do whatever you need to do to get to that next. Most of the time you already know what to do, you just haven't done it. It's just getting started.
So getting started, and I think that now is a perfect time, because so many people have, as we've been in lockdown, and people have had such a change in their lifestyle, whether it's working from home and not having to commute, and just so much has changed in the last 6 months. And I think a lot of people are taking stock of their lives, but it's still, even without all the clutter, it feels hard to know where to start. Now, you talked about writing things down. You talked about, you can use a coach, but even before you talk to a coach, do you have a process that you recommend that, people are quiet and they sit down and they just freeform and journal, or what process might you use, particularly now, because so many people are introspective, I think, because their life has changed so dramatically the last 6 months.
You absolutely want to sit down and write down things that you love, things that bring your spirit joy, things that you're passionate about. And then ask yourself this question: what do I want to do to give back to this world? How do I want to be effective? And I always tell people, everyone has something that absolutely makes their spirit jump and what they want to do. And do not live what someone else has told you you should do. Go for it. Example, I'll give you an example. Let me just talk about me. That's the, that's the easiest thing for me to do. When I started out with, as an adult, I worked for a school system and I was a librarian. And my husband was also, and still is, a school teacher. And so we would get up every morning. He would be so excited about going to work and I would be dreading it. I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do. And it took me 10 years to have the courage to say, I don't want to do this, because I thought this is the best thing to do for my family. And, this is what people expected me to do. But one day I said, I don't want to do that anymore. I loved to coach. I loved everything about sports. And so that's how I got started. I went back to school to become a personal trainer. And in becoming a personal trainer, all of my clients would then tell me all of their issues. And so I would give them advice, and I would think to myself, I don't know if I would tell my trainer that, but they were. But it just seemed to come very natural to me to give them great advice, or to set them on a path to go and obtain that, to go and work hard at that. And I didn't let them off the hook, period, And so one day, honestly, this is what happened to me. I was sitting at my desk in my office, and back then the desktop sometimes would have words or things that ran across the screen, and the word life coach went across the screen. I promise you that's what happened. And I jumped up and said, oh my God, that's exactly what I was created to do. I was created to be a life coach, to help inspire and to empower and teach individuals and help them find their purpose. And from that moment, I asked all my clients, and I had a boatload of them, do you guys think I'm a life coach? They're like, you are absolutely a life coach. We love your talks, better than these hard workouts. So, and so that's exactly what I did. And that moment, I wasn't going to waste any more time. I knew that the goals that I set needed to be worth my time and my life. And so I went to school, and now I have 3 certifications. And I have an international certification. And so this is what I spend my life doing, what I love to do. And I was born to do this, absolutely born to do this. If I didn't get to do it, I would be so sad, Diane. I'm telling you.
Well, and that's such an inspirational story, Tyra, because again, I think some people spend their whole career doing the job that they felt like their parents wanted them to do. They were expected to do. Doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. I mean, this is what you were supposed to do, and it's so exhilarating to hear that you found your path in a different way, and you had the courage. And I really think it's courage to
so that's why I use that,
build your life and explore other purposes.
Absolutely. And it's never too late. It is never too late. You're still living. So get up, have the courage, and really talk yourself into it. Because most people, that's why I always say, only share this with someone who has earned the right for you to share it with. Because this is one thing that will happen. If you share with the wrong person, you're going to get the wrong response. And You know, like I always tell people that are wanting to be in business, please don't share that with someone who's not in business, because they're gonna, I can tell you what they're not thinking about is you going in business. So
There's a concept, and I can't remember whose concept that is out there in business, that each of us has to have our own board of directors,
yes,
and that we surround ourselves with people who complement our knowledge, complement our thinking, that we can bounce ideas off on, and that they can help us steer our future. And that's kind of what that's what you're also alluding to, which is, you know, you surround yourself with people that can provide input to you and that will give you strength and direction, as opposed to the Debbie Downers that will tell you, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, you can't do that.
Or dream killers. They don't want to see you do it, you know. Really, like attracts like, you know, just like misery loves company. So you absolutely have to be very careful and strategic in creating a mastermind group for yourself.
Let me ask a question, that because we don't have, by the way, let me remind the folks that are listening that if you have questions, please use the question box. I'm still not seeing any, but Tyra and I will talk forever if you don't ask questions.
Diane, there is one question that did get submitted.
Because I can't see it. So thank you so much, Elena. What does that question say?
Says, Tyra, can you give us a tip on self-evaluation to truly find our purpose? I think it's hard to self-evaluate and I don't know how to start.
Okay, let me give you one great tip on self-evaluation. Always say, get those 5 closest people to you and ask them, what are your 3 strengths and your 3 weaknesses? And allow them to tell you, and with you without a response. You just tell them thank you and you appreciate it. And you also tell them that you are being very serious and you're doing some self-evaluation and you really want their input. And they will tell you what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. And 9 times out of 10, you know it yourself, and you have to accept that and also now make the change for that. In discovering your purpose, always say, write down everything that you absolutely love to do, not like, love to do. There's a big difference. So that's what I had to do. I had to write down things that I absolutely love to do and wanted to spend my life doing. And that was my avenue.
Are there any other questions, Elena, that I didn't see? Because I didn't see that one, and now I can see it in the very fine print. Are there any other ones that came in?
Looks like, let me see. Sorry, it comes in a very small, no, that's the only one.
Can I say one more thing?
Please.
With your purpose, let me tell you this, your purpose will always be something that is going to make someone else's life better, that you can share. So it won't be just an individual thing. Your purpose is for people, and it is to share, to serve. So that's I want that to be a big clue for you.
So as opposed to my purpose in life is to be financially independent and travel around the world, that's a me purpose versus a serving others purpose.
And let me say this, even with financial freedom, even with your purpose, everything you do, you should be able to connect something with it, or connect with something where you can share and serve. So if you have reached financial freedom, then I would say to you, then go be with an organization where you can help someone else maybe obtain financial freedom, or you can serve, or an organization or anything like that. And you can make a difference with doing it.
I was going to ask the question about, most of us know what having a personal trainer would be like, but not many of us have had a life coach. So can you tell us just a little bit about the process and what we could expect if we had a life coach?
I can tell you my process and if I was your life coach. Because this is, let me just say this. many people believe that having a life coach is having someone that you can, every week or every other week or once a month have a great feel good conversation with. But a life coach is someone that challenges you, that helps you to create a vision for your life, to set goals, to break some bad habits, to create some new habits. And let me give you a couple of tips. Number one, the first tip I want to give you is a tip about habits. We're just a ball of habits. Once you have a habit, you will never get rid of it. It will always be there. What you have to do is create a bigger habit that's bigger than your old habit. So as your life coach, it's my job to evaluate the bad habits that you have in your life. And now let's go create some bigger habits and better habits that will help you be successful, or put in systems. So I'll give you just a quick overall. If I was your life coach, we would either talk once a week or every other week. We will set all those goals that absolutely scare you. We would do some house cleaning, as I like to say, getting rid of some bad habits and now creating some new habits, and absolutely doing whatever it took for us to reach those goals. I'm a coach that likes to tell my clients the excuse department is closed. So we will absolutely be successful at whatever goals you set out to complete. And you will then be, it's my job to just help you to have a habit of winning and have a habit of being successful and creating the life that you want.
That's very interesting. So in some ways, it's the same accountability that you might have even with your personal trainer, which is you got to show up for your time and you got to do the reps and it hurts, wah, wah, wah.
And you have assignments.
It's a lot of the same skills that you're reapplying, but they're for things that a lot of us never get to.
Yes, or professional life. I like to give assignments. I'm a big reader. And I know that, it's said that knowledge is power, but I believe specified knowledge is power. So whatever knowledge that we need for you to obtain those goals or create those visions, that's the knowledge that we will be doing or seeking.
That's very interesting. It sounds like a very powerful process. For people that maybe can't afford a life coach and might have to do this on their own, suggestions for them? I think I heard you say pretty robustly, write it down, write it down, write it down, because if you write it down, you get a 97% chance that it's going to happen. But other suggestions for people that maybe can't find the time or have the resources to have a life coach?
Yes, again, you absolutely want to write it down. And you also want to create that mastermind group. You want to create your accountability and people that will help you to stay on track and not comfort your dysfunctions or things that hold you back or your procrastination or anything like that. You want someone that is going to keep you accountable and they care. And when you're asking people to do that, that means they're invested in you. And an investment is different from support. An investment, you expect a ROI, a return of investment. So you do want to have that person that really wants to see you achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a new question come in. One question was, what book suggestions would be great?
Oh, I have so many favorite books. Let's see. One of a really, really good book to start out with is You Are a Badass. Because let me hold on one second. Let me grab it so I can tell you who the author is, because I'm really big on, want to make sure I give you that information. It's right there. Hold on. I don't know if you all can see me.
We can see you.
Okay. You Are a Badass. And by Jen Sincero. I like
S-I-N-C-E, let me just say, S-I-N-C-E-R-O, gang. Jen Cicero, okay? You are a badass, all right?
that's a great book to start out with. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And it's not just talking about rich as far as finances or financial freedom. It's talking about a rich life, a great mindset, all the things that we've talked about today, your health and that. That's another one of my favorite. Those two will get you on a great path.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I think that we have exhausted our panel, our questions from our listeners. Why don't I just give you a few minutes that you can wrap up and just share with the listeners any final thoughts and just any final inspiration, since you are so inspirational and your whole life has been an inspiration. Do you have any final thoughts for us before we end this webinar?
What I do want to share with you, I want really to leave the listeners with this, that it's never too late. It is never too late to get started. About 4 years ago, I was doing a vision board seminar. And after the seminar, I had a lady come up to me and she said, I really she was moved by the whole presentation and that she believed that she needed a life coach and she wanted to get started. And she told me a little bit about her story. She is a veteran. At the age of 60, she was in Iraq and she had come back and she was suffering from she was suffering from depression and PTSD from being over there. She was a head RN nurse over there, so she was leading all of the other nurses to take care of the troops over there. And she was 69 years old doing it. So she had come back and she had fell into a deep depression. She started coaching with me, and it's been 4 years. She was 60 pounds overweight. She's lost 60 pounds. She wanted to tell her story. She got the courage to actually write a book. She lost her husband in the midst. Now she's a widow. She's working on her second book. She's in the process of purchasing her dream home. She is literally living her best life at 69. So I just want to leave you with that. She so inspires me. She's now 73 years old and writing her second book. And how I feel is she inspires me to keep living. And if she can do it, we can do it also. So that's what I want to leave you with. Never, never, never give up.
That is wonderful. What a great way to end. Thank you so much, Tyra, for your time, your stories, your inspiration. We really appreciate it. I think that it's a great way to end the week for me because I'm not working tomorrow. So thank you so much. And
you're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it. Let me just take just a moment or two before we move back to before we end our webinar. I just want to talk about the next webinar that's coming up, and you can see it's on the board. We have one in December to end our year, and it is a woman by the name of Raquel Shelton, and we hope it will also inspire you. We're really looking for webinars to have you think about your life, think about how you can get better and be the best you can be. The title of this one is Be the Inspired You. And so I hope you will be able to join us December 3rd, 3 to 4. And as that, we will also be taping that one so you can use it when you choose to. With that, Elena, is there anything else that I should be reminding folks of before we sign off?
No, that's just it. And we just want to thank everyone for coming out and listen. And Tyra, thank you so much for your time and your inspiration on where we can be for our next.
Great. Thank you. And Tony, thank you for inviting Tyra and for sharing her with us. What an awesome sister you have.
You're so welcome. I'm just so happy I was able to, that she was able to do it. And I was happy to be with you again.
Thank you. Yes, well, we look forward to seeing you. I don't know if you've found your next yourself, but if you do, we hope that you'll be back in our FPSA world.
Absolutely.
All right.
All the best
Thank
to
you.
everyone.
Goodbye, all.
Thank you.
Goodbye.